Madame BRASSEUR, welcome to Congress Media Box. On the occasion of the Congress 29th session, you addressed the Congress member during the debate on refugee and migrant crisis. It was important because you visited several countries related with this issue as a president of the Parliamentary Assembly, such as Turkey. So could you please describe this crisis and what are your outcomes and observations with these visits?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that it is not a crisis, because a crisis comes, there is a peak, and then it goes away. It is a phenomenon. I think the refugee problem is going to be permanent, and so we have to address it. I went to Greece, I went to Spain, I went to Italy, to Sicily, namely, and I also went to Turkey in April. And when I saw 2 million refugees at the border with Syria and the tremendous efforts Turkey was doing there, and also local mayors were doing, the city of Kilis, when I came back I said, we have to react now, because now it is a problem, of course, for the refugees. Turkey is doing so much, but if we don't help, it becomes our problem as well. And unfortunately, we weren't heard. So I took the initiative to take the leaders of the national delegations of the Parliamentary Assembly to go there. And we went there with a delegation in June, and they echoed that back in their national parliaments, because it was urgent. Then it took some time before the European Union now at last took some measures, but as I said, too little and too late. And in fact, I'm a bit ashamed when I see that at the European Union, they were haggling like carpet sellers about quotas, about figures. And it's about human lives, it's about their dignity. And we have to have a different approach. The local approach is very important, but therefore you need a European strategy, not only of the EU, but of the 47 member states, and then to have a national strategy. But you need a global, and over Europe, you need also a worldwide solution, because migration is a worldwide problem. But then you need a national strategy and local action. And there, the local authorities, and I myself, I was a deputy mayor of the city of Luxembourg for decades, so I know what it means. But there, you must have the means and the tools in order to give an answer to that influx of migration. But it's only at local actions, at local level, that we can take action, and that action must be taken.
And also on your statement, you mentioned the question of integration.
Yes.
You underlined this issue. So what can local authorities do to integrate refugees, or to have a common life processes in that world?
There are many steps which must be taken, but integration is the key to it. Those who are coming to us, they must feel themselves welcomed, but they must also get the tools in order to get integrated, because they have to do a tremendous effort. They come from a different culture. They had to flee war, they had to flee poverty, they had to flee torture. So when they come to us, they must take our tools and learn, and one is also education. And we have to teach them basic language skills, and there are tools by the Council of Europe already available, and that has to be put on the local level. You can't do that in big premises, but I think there should be a fair share of, I don't say burden, but responsibility. And then that in little local unities you can do much more integration, but also together with civil society. That is fantastic what people are doing.
And before finishing, what would you like to say about Europe's reaction? You always mention that it's not enough what they try to do. So what should have done more to tackle with this refugee issue?
The EU and all the other countries should have taken measures before, but sometimes those measures are not popular. But also to speak to people, because people now have the citizens have questions. You have to answer them, because when it develops into fears, then you get a phenomenon of rejection. And what we need now is a welcome culture in our own sake as well. And the European Union, and still, if you see one is blocking its borders, and then the other one is blocking, one is blaming the other, and we could have anticipated. And because problems don't go away if you don't speak about it. So you have to recognize the problems, and the war in Syria has been going on now for more than 4 years. And now it took 4 years, and now that we see that influx on our borders, now we react because we have to react. But it would have been much better to anticipate, and there we would have been really, it would have been easier to welcome all those migrants in a more decent way than it happens for the moment. And it's also important to answer the questions people ask themselves, because otherwise they are afraid, and when fear is going to be there, then there is a phenomenon of rejection. And that's why it's so important that we have the No Hate Parliamentary Alliance, where I'm wearing that button and I'm reaching it out also outside the Congress, outside the Parliamentary Assembly, to the European Parliament, His Holiness the Pope. When I had the honor to be in a private audience a couple of weeks ago in the Vatican, he spontaneously accepted to support the movement. We have to reach out to the sports movement. I was now in Lausanne at the International Olympic Committee. They support it as well. And I think that is important, because if we are seeing what's happening on the ground by some who take the fear of people in order to spread hate, that is not only harming the integration of refugees, but that's undermining our democracies. So we have to stand together.
Thank you for joining us, Madam Brasseeuer.